The third one would be like various components in business objects. So these are the three topics we are going to cover in today's session. First, so before going to the business objects, I would like to tell you one point over here. The prerequisite of the business objects is to know about the data warehouse. So what is a data warehouse? What are the various data warehousing concepts? How this data warehouse different from the databases? So these things has to be known very clearly before going to the business objects. Okay, so the prerequisite for the business objects is data warehousing. Okay, data warehouse. So this is a prerequisite for the business objects. Okay, so coming to the history of the business objects. So as you all know very well, like business objects is a reporting tool. Okay, it does not deal with any kind of table insertions or making up of a tables or putting a data into the databases. It does not take care of anything except making the reports. Means whatever the transactional data you have in your databases, getting that transactional data or showing that particular transactional data in a good structure or format is what called as a report. And coming to these reports, the importance of the reports are like, these reports are basically used to represent the data. Okay, is used to represent the data so that everyone, okay, like each and every organization can analyze the data and take the important decisions in the Okay, so we need to generate the reports over here in order to take some important decisions by any of the user. Either it may be like any organization or any individual. So to take the important decisions to enhance their business or to expand their business, they need the reports. So these report generations have become very important nowadays. In olden days also, we used to, like where there is no globalization at all, we used to generate the reports. But the analysis of the data, gathering up of the data and making the reports, okay, used to take a plenty of time. Okay, and also obviously the decision making would be very delayed. Okay, so but nowadays as a globalization has been there and there is a huge competition between the organizations, so everyone want to take the decisions instantaneously without taking any stress or without wasting any time. So for them, okay, in order to take the decisions, they have to analyze the data easily. So how to analyze the data easily? If you are having the data in a good structure and good format, you can analyze the data. That representation of data in the good format or good structure is what called as reports. Okay, so the reports are of many kinds. Okay, but in order to generate these reports, we need to have certain tools. So in that, business objects is one of the tools. It was actually started by a French organization in 1992. They have released only one particular tool in the business objects. Business objects is a package. In this package, they have released only one tool in 1992, and year-wise, according to their usage and according to their user requirement, they have made some changes in that particular tool year-wise, and finally in 2000 they have actually released a fully loaded business objects into the market. This fully loaded business objects has given a huge competition to already existing reporting tools like Cognos and OBIE. Okay, so after business objects, the well-known reporting tool is like Cognos. Okay, this is an IBM product. Okay, Cognos is well-known reporting tool after the business objects. So coming to this Cognos, basically what the version, okay, what we are learning now is already released 5 years back in the Cognos. But only the problem is with the securities. Okay, So in the business objects means there are some factors in the business objects that made the business objects to give a huge competition to the existing reporting tools in the market. So what are those factors? We need to concentrate on them. Okay, so here are the advantages of the business objects. The first one is like, okay, so we are having like a good look and the feel. Means every reporting tool must have this good look and feel. The second one would be like a user friendly. The third one would be like high securities. Okay, so these are the three factors, okay, that made the business objects to be different from the other reporting tools, okay, and give a huge competition to the other reporting tools. See, coming to the first two factors, look and the feel and user friendly, every reporting tool does it. Okay, every reporting tool would be having this look and the feel and user friendly nature. But coming to this high securities, this made the difference between the business objects and other reporting tools. So coming to the high securities, so if you are applying the high securities to the data which is shown in the reports, so the user can be satisfied. Either it may be the basic user or either it may be the standard user. So whoever may be the user, these users get satisfied with the relevant data what he gets in the report. So how to satisfy each and every user is like by applying some sort of securities to the data. If for example think there are three different users, one is like in an organization there is a project manager, a team lead and a normal user. Three different users are there and three different requirements. So how to satisfy them is by applying the securities. Okay, and the data which has to be viewed by the project manager should not be viewed by the normal user or the team lead. So if you want to satisfy each and every user, the data has to be hidden. Okay, so these kind of securities are well applied in the business objects when compared to the other reporting tools. That made the business objects to be number one in the world right now. Okay, 60% of the organizations are still using the business objects as their reporting tool, and you have lots of scope and opportunities for these business objects. Okay, so look at the feel and user friendly nature. Every reporting tool has these factors. Okay, either it may be Cognos, OBI or ClickView or whatever may be the tool. Okay, it would be having look and the feel and user friendly nature. But the main important thing here is apart from those, you need to have the securities also must be offered. So that is well offered by the business object. So that's why it's number one in the market. Okay. So this is all about the brief history of the business objects, and coming to the versions which was released by the business object was, okay, the first version was .5. The business objects has got a huge market, and looking into this particular market of the business objects, what SAP has done is SAP has taken up the business objects into its entity in 2007. From 2007, the SAP is a product of the business objects, means it's maintained, developed, serviced by the SAP people only. Okay, and as it has been taken up by the SAP, it's not like it is gonna work with only the SAP environment. It can work with the any of the RDBMS, any of the relational databases. Also, these business objects would be working. So that's why ultimately when we are covering our sessions, we would be covering up with two scenarios, two environments. The first one is the business objects with RDBMS and the business objects with SAP. So both the things we are going to cover up. First, see, all the organizations cannot afford for the SAP. Okay, so whoever the organization cannot afford for SAP, can't they go to the business objects? Yes, they can go for the business objects. So they would be using different RDBMS like Oracle, SQL, Access. So like this, they can use n number of data sources or the databases, or you can call them as a data providers also. So any of them can be used, and finally they can use a business objects on the top of them as the reporting tool. So in our later sessions, if everything goes fine, in our later sessions we are going to cover up both the scenarios, like business objects with RDBMS. How does it work with the RDBMS? Okay, and the business objects with SAP. Okay, so both the things we are going to cover up in our later sessions. Okay. So this is all about the brief history of the business objects, and coming to the versions, after SAP has taken up, few more versions has been released into the market. Okay, so what are those versions? Those versions are, okay, business of BOXI. Okay, BOXI R2 is a version which has been released, okay, immediately after the business objects has been taken up. Yeah, I'm not getting the exact point over here, Vivek. Are the authorizations of BI can be used in BO? What do you mean by the authorizations over here? What do you mean by the exact authorization? The meaning of authorizations? Okay, no problem. We can discuss these things after our session has been, once our session has been done, we can discuss these things. Okay, fine. So next, the next version is like, we are having something called as, the next version which has been released is BOXI R3. This is a version which has been released in, in the market in 2008. Okay, so for 4 years, this business objects XIR3, okay, has been an emperor. Okay, for 4 years. Okay, for 4 years it has been very good. Okay, good in the market. It has taken up a good market value, and everything is very good. And as this has few disadvantages, okay, when compared to the new what you call like requirements, okay, this business objects XIR3 does not go good. So what happened is they have released a new version called as business objects 4.0. This happened in November 2011. In 2011 they have released a new version into the market. So this version is very good without any kind of disadvantages according to our requirement or the recent organizational requirements also. Like, there are no disadvantages at all. So whatever the disadvantages, the upgradations has to be done for the 3, they have done it in the 4.0. So you can call this as BO 4.0, or you can also call it as BI 4.0. So both the names suits this business objects. So these are the latest versions which has been released into the market. So we are basically dealing with the 4.0 only. Okay, so and like there may be in this, I don't know the exact requirement of what they want, either 4 or 3.1, but most of the organizations are updated for 4.0 only, so we can cover up the 4.0. But if if I get some time, I can also brush up with the 4.0, like 3.1 also. Okay, so this is the brief history of the business objects. Next, coming to the roadmap to the business objects over here. Okay, so what is this roadmap to the business objects mean? The roadmap to the business objects means whatever the data is available in the databases, the data would be available in the databases in the form of the tables. You know it very well. So whatever the data we are having in the databases, how this data comes to the reports or into the reports. So what is the journey of the data from the databases into these reports, we are going to see now in this roadmap to the business objects. Okay, so these reporting tools are the decision makers of your organization. So that's why in the terms of business, we call them as a business drivers. We call them as a business drivers. Why? Because these are the these basically reports would be driving our business. So that's why we call them as a business drivers. So we have to, our ultimate goal is like we have to achieve these business drivers. Okay, so what are the various examples of the business drivers which we see regularly, like balance sheets? Okay, next one would be like income statements. So like this, we would be having n number of examples for the business drivers or the reports which we see in our daily life. In order to achieve these business drivers, or in order to achieve these reports, okay, so what is needed? Okay, we need to have certain tools. Okay, what are those tools called as? We call them as a BO tools. So what are the various tools over here in the business objects that would be helping me to generate the reports? The first one is like the first tool which we use is Webby. Okay, Webby stands for Web Intelligence Reporting Tool. Next one is like Webby Rich Client. This is the next tool, okay, the second tool which we use to generate the reports. The third one is like Crystal Reports. The third one is Crystal Reports. The fourth one is the dashboards. The fourth one is a dashboard. So these are the various reporting tools which we have in the business objects that would be helping to generate the reports. So we have a tools over here, and we have the reports that has to be generated. We have the requirement, we have the tools. Now what we need of? What do we need now? We need basically the data. Okay, so how the data would be accessed by these particular tools? How the data would be accessed by these particular tools is a problem here. Okay, so these reporting tools can access the data, okay, can access the data either directly or indirectly. Okay, so what do you mean by the direct or indirect way here? There are two ways. Okay, there are two ways to access the data from the various data providers. Okay, so what are the various things here? Okay, directly and indirectly. So these particular reporting tools can access the data either directly or indirectly in order to generate the reports or to achieve the business drivers. So what is this direct procedure? The direct way is like directly integrating with the data sources and getting the data into the report is one way. The second way is like indirect process. So what do you mean by indirect process? This indirect process is the important thing in the business objects. So the indirect process is like whatever our requirement may be. Okay, so that with that particular requirement, I am trying to make a middle layer or a metadata layer or a semantic layer logically on the business objects platform. So this logical layer, using this particular logical layer, I can generate the reports easily. Okay, rather than accessing the databases or rather than accessing the data warehouse, I can easily access this particular layer which I have created locally on the business objects platform, so that it would be very easy for the end user to generate the reports. Okay, this layer is what called as a universe. This layer is what called as universe. Let me brief you on the universe now. Why? Because as a business objects consultant and as a business objects developer, the first and foremost thing we are going to do is to generate the universe. So what is this universe? Universe is nothing but it's a semantic layer, okay, or you can call it as a middle layer in simple terms, which is a replica of the database or the data warehouse, okay, which has been done or which has been created on the business objects platform. Okay, so now coming to this particular universe, see here the reports are being generated by the end users. The reports have been generated by the end users. So these end users does not have any knowledge about the databases or the data warehouse. Okay, they know only to get the data and to generate the reports. That's all. They don't have any knowledge about the databases, data warehouse, where the data is stored, how many tables are available, what are the sources which are there. So all these things they are not bothered. Why? Because they don't know about the databases or the data warehouse. So as a business objects consultant, what I have to do is, according to the requirement, what are the tables which are necessary. So those tables has to be logically brought onto one particular layer called as a universe, and on this universe, okay, for example, my requirement is a sales. Okay, I want a customer spendings on a particular product. Okay, for example, they have purchased some raw material. So what are the customer spendings on that raw material or customer spendings on the drugs? Okay, so I want to know about them. So I need to have the relevant data. So that particular relevant data would be in the databases or the data warehouse in the form of tables. Think like there are 1,000 tables are available here. So all the 1,000 tables does not have the sales data. Only few tables would be having the sales data. Think like 200 tables are there. So my report requirement would be to generate the sales reports over here by the end users. So what I do is, rather than accessing the data warehouse or the databases, as a business objects consultant, I am making one layer over here, a middle layer logically on the business objects platform. So instead of accessing these databases or the data warehouse, I access the universe. Okay, so that universe would be made by the business objects consultants. Okay, so all those 200 tables which are having the sales data, those 200 tables would be brought into the universe, and I make the structure of I design the universe. As I said you, like universe would be the replica of the database or data warehouse. Means how the tables are arranged in the databases or data warehouse, in the same way the tables are arranged in the universe also, but locally on the business objects platform. And the universe does not hold the data physically. It would be pointing towards the data warehouse or the databases only. It's just a placeholder. Okay, it's a logical structure, okay, that is being created on the business objects to convert the data terms into the business terms, and finally helping the end users to generate the reports. So now the sales reports who are generating the end users, rather than accessing the databases or data warehouse, they would be accessing the universe and try to generate the reports. It's very simple. So I think now you understood making up of the universe is very important in the business objects. So that's why the first and foremost thing, like role and responsibility of the business objects consultant, is to generate the universe or to design the universe. So after designing the universe only, we are going to generate the reports, or we are going to design the reports. So that's why most of the classes, okay, like 50% of the classes we will be spending on the universe. So take the connectivities, okay, how to get the relevant data, what is our report requirement, analyzing the report requirement, analyzing the data sources, okay, and trying to design the universe. What is the architecture we use in the universe designing? What are the schemas we use? So all these things we will be discussing while making about the universe. So that's why 50% of our classes would be the universe designer only. Okay, so after making the universe, we are going to generate the reports easily on the universe. So this is about the universes. So now I'm just trying to tell you how to make a universes, from where to make a universes, how to design the universes. So these universes would be accessing the data or would be getting a data. call it as. But BO is a completely reporting tool. It does not take care of any, as I said you previously also, it does not take care of any kind of inserting the data or modeling of the data or the extraction of the data. It does not take care. Okay, it takes care only of the reporting part. That's all. Okay, so that is a major difference between BI and the business objects. Business objects is completely a reporting tool. After the BI is done, after the data comes into the business warehouse, that's what I said you, okay, into the business warehouse, then we are going and generating the reports. So from where these info providers are getting the information from, I said like from the information providers, these tools would be accessing the data. The tools would be accessing the data. So from where these information providers has got the data? These information providers have got the data from the data providers. From the data providers. What are these data providers? Data providers are nothing but your databases. So either it may be any of the database, either it may be SQL database, Access database, IBM, DB2, Teradata, whatever may be the databases are there. So after running an ETL tool, we get the information in the form of a data warehouse or the business warehouse. So from here, okay, the data would be accessed by these reporting tools, and they are helping us to generate the reports. So we are not doing any ETL process here. After we get the data into the business warehouse only, our work would be starting up. Okay, till then we are not at all bothered. Okay, after the BA or the data warehousing is done, then only we can go for the reporting. So that's why I said at the starting of the class, the data warehouse is a prerequisite. Okay, the data warehouse is a prerequisite for the business objects. Why? Because in order to make a flow or in order to understand the flow, you have to understand the data warehousing concepts over here. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so this is the thing. Now coming to the understand very well. So what is the major difference between the databases and the data warehouses? Like in the databases, the data would be stored in the form of a tables only. But whatever the data would be stored, that would be in the raw format. That would be in the raw format. It means all the transactional data would be stored in the form of a tables. Okay, not exactly the analytical data. But whatever the data that would be stored in the data warehouse, that also would be in the form of a tables, but that data would be like analytical data. What is the meaning of analytical data here is, analytical data is a kind of data that could be analyzed by the users very easily. Okay, so that kind of data would be available here in the data warehouse or the business warehouse. But the data which is available in the databases, that would be in the raw format. Okay, but the data which is available in the data warehouse, that would be in the analytical format. So according to the situations, so you can access the databases or you can access the data warehouse also in order to generate the reports by the business objects. We have both the connectivities. Okay, you can directly access the data warehouse or the data sources or even the universe also. Okay, so three things are available here. Okay, so means as each and every reporting tool has their own priority. Okay, so it depends upon their what you call it make also. For example, take a crystal reports. Crystal reports can get the data from any of the sources. Either it may be the databases, or it may be the data warehouse, or either it may be the universe, or either it may be the Excel sheet, or either it may be the Salesforce, IBM. So whatever it is capable of getting the data from any of the data sources. That is the crystal reports. Okay, because of the usage of the crystal reports and the requirement of the crystal report, it is made like that. Okay, next, coming to the dashboards also, these can also access the data from any point. Okay, next one is coming to the Webby and Webby Rich Client. These two are the reporting tools that can access the data mostly from the universes, mostly from the universe. Okay, so universe is the only data source which is available for the Webby and Webby rich client. Okay, it cannot go with any other data sources except the universe. This was once upon a time in the business objects. Now there are a lot of changes. Okay, but still the universe is a data source for the Webby and Webby rich client. But coming to the crystal reports and dashboards, as they are capable of getting a data from any point of data source, they can get it. Okay, so this is all about the various tools in the business objects. Okay, I'll tell you a simple example. What is this data warehouse? See, let me take, like, you are working in an organization which is established in 3 different physical locations. Okay, first one is like New York, second one would be like Texas, the third one would be like Dallas. Simple. Okay, so 3 different geographical locations, the data would be maintained at 3 different places. The 3 different databases, the data would be maintained at 3 different geographical locations. Yeah, sure. I'm going to cover everything in the part, the crystal reports as well as the dashboards too. Okay, now coming to the, as the data is maintained at different databases here like DB1. Okay, next in Texas you would be having, take an example here, DB2, and next one would be like DB3. So 3 things, okay, 3 different places, 3 different databases are available. So I have to generate the reports. I need to generate the report over here. Okay, so the report would be like, take an example of the sales reports. I'll tell you the difference between them. Okay, so majorly we are having the, like, sales reports has to be made. So the data is established in 3 different places. In 3 different places we are having, okay, in 3 different places, okay, we are having the data, and this, using this particular data I have to generate the reports over here. Okay, so in order to generate the reports, I need to extract the data from all these 3 data sources. Okay, from these 3 data sources, the data has to be extracted to generate the reports. But what is the issue here? The issue comes in the connectivities. Okay, the issues would be coming. The first issue is like the connectivity issue. Okay, so by this connectivities, what happens is the databases has to be remotely accessed by the I'm taking one scenario over here where the data is established in 3 different physical locations, and I have to generate the reports, that is the sales reports. Now what I do is, the first thing would be like, I have to access these particular databases remotely. Okay, remotely I need to access them. So as I have to access them remotely, okay, as I have to access them remotely, there would be for sure some connectivity issues would be going on. Okay, so some connectivity issues would be going on. So in order to in order to resolve these connectivity issues, what I am trying to do is, I basically go for an ETL tool. The ETL tool would be helping me to extract the data. What is the relevant data is there, that data would be extracted, transformed and loaded into a place called as business warehouse. Okay, so I go for an ETL tool. So this ETL tool would be helping me to extract the relevant data according to my requirement, and that would be helping me to generate the reports. Means in the business warehouse, I go for the okay, so we extract the data we extract, transform and load the data into the business warehouse. So from the business warehouse, I want to generate, like, from the business warehouse, by using the business objects, I can access the business warehouse and generate the reports. So whatever may be the reports, it might be either it may be the Webby reports, Crystal reports, or the dashboards. So we can access the BW or the business warehouse in order to generate the reports. The importance of the data warehouse or the business warehouse are the importance of the business warehouse and data warehouse is whatever the relevant data is there, that data would be kept at one side. So the importance of the business warehouse is we are having a data established, means we will be having a data at one particular site, and it can store the historical data plus the current data, and as well as for the longer time, like in the databases the time would be around 6 months okay, or 8 months, but coming to the business warehouse or the data warehouse, it can store the data for some years. Okay, so take an example of your banking only. So you go for the statements in the bank and you would be asking them. So they give a 2-year statement, 2 years back statement or 3 years back statements also they would be issuing you. That is due to the data warehouse or the business warehouse. This would be storing the data for the longer hours, longer years, longer time, and historical data plus the current data would be stored. Okay, and the data would be stored at one particular site. Okay, so that is the importance of the data warehouse. This is a major difference between the databases and the data warehouse. Okay, so it's very simple. So like here the data would be established in like n number of tables. Okay, the raw data or the transactional data would be there. Okay, so we extract the data, transform the data, and load the data into the business warehouse or the data warehouse over here. Okay, so this particular data warehouse would be having the data established in one place so that the reporting people can access the data warehouse easily rather than accessing the databases. Okay. So this is all about the difference between the data warehouse and the databases. Okay, and someone asked me like, what is the difference between the Crystal reports and Webby reports? Basically, these Webby reports and Webby rich client would be coming up with the business objects, and these would be helping us to generate the ad hoc reports. Would be helping us to generate the ad hoc reports. Ad hoc reports are nothing but the dynamic reports which are generated then and there without any kind of structure, without any kind of format. Whatever the reports are generated, those are called as an ad hoc reports. Whereas coming to the Crystal reports, these reports are, as the name itself says, like Crystal reports. So these are well structured, well formatted, okay, reports, pixel clear reports, which would be helping us to analyze the data very easily. So in the Crystal reports, so whatever the reports we make, so that would be helping us to analyze very quickly, okay, very easily also. So that's why we go with the Crystal reports rather than the other Webby reports or the Webby rich client reports. These are the ad hoc reports, whereas the Crystal reports are the well structured, well formatted reports which could be generated from any kind of source. Either it may be the universe, or either it may be the data warehouse, either it may be the business warehouse, either it may be the databases. It has a compatibility to get the data from any of the place. Okay, so that is a major difference between the Webby and the Crystal reports. And coming to the dashboards, dashboards are nothing but these are not the reporting tool. It's not a reporting tool. It's a dashboard creator which would be helping us to create the dashboards. Dashboards are nothing but the pictographic representations of the data is what called as a dashboards. Pictographic representations of the data is what called as dashboards. Means the data would be showed in the form of the pictures, in the form of the charts. Okay, so those are what called as a dashboards. Okay, those are what called as a dashboards. Either the pie charts, okay, or bar charts. You may be asking, in the reporting tools also you are having the charts, but the major difference is whatever the charts we make here, these are the static one, Whereas whatever the dashboards we create, these are the dynamic dashboards. Okay, these are the dynamic dashboards, means whenever the data changes, automatically the dashboards would be changing. Okay, so that is all about the dashboards. Okay, so these are the various reporting tools we are having. These are only the reporting tools in the business objects. First of all, when we start up our course, we are going to start up with the universe, creation of the universe. As I said you, that is the first and foremost thing. So creating up of the universe is the first task. Designing, this would be taking around 15 days of time. Okay, or 15 hours you can call it. Okay, so next one would be like we are going to start up with the Webby Rich client. Okay, so this is an ad hoc reporting tool and client based tool. Okay, which is similar to the Webby also, which is similar. All the functions in the Webby and Webby Rich client, both of them would be same. Okay, both of them would be same. Okay, so the next one is like crystal reports. The next one would be like dashboards. So after creating a dashboards, okay, we are going to look okay into certain tools okay which we use regularly for the scheduling of the reports or the publications of the reports. Okay, those things can be used. Okay, for example, I'll tell you now. After generating the reports, these reports has to be sent to the users, or the users has to log in and they have to view the reports. For the users to view the reports or for us to send the report, there should be one portal. Okay, that particular portal is what called as a Launchpad. Okay, we are having something called as a Launchpad over here. So using this Launchpad tool, the users can see the reports, whatever the reports we have designed, or I can send the reports to the users. Both the ways. Okay, both the ways it is fine. Okay, so that is what called as portal, and this portal tool is what called as Launchpad. So from the Launchpad, okay, by using this particular Launchpad, okay, I can even publish the reports. Okay, publish is nothing but making the reports available to the users is what called as publish, or you can call it as publication also. So you have the publication or you can publish, and next one is like okay, we can basically go and schedule the reports. Schedule the reports. Scheduling is the reports are nothing but few users want the reports at the unwanted timing. For example, 2 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning. So such. Okay. So in order to schedule the reports also, we need to have certain tool. We have a scheduler which would be scheduling the tools, and both the publications and the scheduling would be there in the Launchpad. Okay, Launchpad is like a portal where the users can view the reports, or else we can send the designers can send the reports to the users. Both the ways it is convenient, so that's why I call it as a portal, and that is what called as Launchpad. Okay. So after that, the next type of tools are like, for example, your organization is working with the 3.0, that is the previous version. I want to upgrade it to the 4.0, or from the 4.0 to 4.1 I want to upgrade it. So how to upgrade it? We should have certain tool. Okay, so that tool is what called as Upgrade Manager. Okay, Upgrade Management tool. This is a tool which is used to upgrade the version. Okay, version to version upgrades. Version to version upgrades okay is done by the tool called as Upgrade Management tool, and each and every application has to pass from 3 environments. I think all of you guys are working now. You may be knowing what are the 3 environments okay through which the applications has to pass. The first one would be the development, second one would be the testing, and third one would be the production. Okay, so from these 3 Okay, three places. Okay, every application, whatever may be the application, either it may be the universe, crystal report, webby report, dashboards. So whatever may be the applications we have developed, okay, or products developed, everything has to pass through these three environments, and this is what called as life cycle. So from like to take the applications from one environment to the other environment, from development to testing, testing to production, you need to have a certain tool. Means all these things has to be transferred, right? So in order to transfer everything into the next environment, okay, we must be having certain tool. So that tool is called as a life cycle management tool. Life cycle management tool. Upgrade management tool is version to version, whereas life cycle management tool is like environment to environment. Okay, so environment to environment. Okay, this would be called as life cycle management tool. So these are all the tools which we are looking into the business objects. Okay, I think everyone has got the course content. Okay, just go through the course content, and mostly, okay, these are the topics we are going to cover, and mostly we are concentrating on these things: universe, webby, richland, crystal report, and dashboards. So while creating the reports only, I teach you how to publish the reports and how to schedule the reports, and last comes the upgrade management tool and the life cycle management tool. So these are the various components in the business objects. Okay, so in today's session we have seen the history of the business objects and various the various versions, okay, and as well as the roadmap to the business objects, and the difference between the data warehouse and the databases, and what are the various components in the business objects. Okay, I'm really sorry about the connectivity issues. I would say further there would be no connectivity issues at all, okay, from the next sessions. So this is all about the things, and we are going to start up with the business object 4.0 as our reporting tool. So any doubts, you can just ask me. Someone asked me like the authorizations. Okay, the session would be for 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour a day session would be there. Timing of the classes is you can speak to the organizers, like maybe the same timings would be there, or we can start up with 7 a.m. IST early in the mornings. Okay, that could be also there. Okay, like we need to go with all the guys' timings, right? Okay, so you can discuss that with the organizers, the timings. Okay, but coming to the training part, this is the thing. Yeah, I would be giving the remote access. Okay, for 3 months that would be, okay, I would be giving the remote access. Why? Because business objects can be accessed remotely. Okay, so I have a remote access server with me. I can give you the server access for 3 months. Yeah, any other doubts? And timings part, you can just ask the organizers about the timings. They would be telling you the timings and all. The session, regularly the session would be for 1 hour a day. So the timings like 30 to 35 days is a maximum time taken to complete the course. It would be 30 days obviously if no breaks are there. If there are any breaks in the middle, okay, so then obviously it goes to the 35 days. Or if you want to teach few topics elaborately, okay, or if you want to go for the other versions of like the 3.1 also, then it would be taking around 30 to 35 days. Okay, I'm saying 35 days is a maximum time. Okay. Any other questions, you can just ask me. See, by default we are having an Access database. Okay, so we can just go with the Access database. That's a default database which we have. And obviously we would be loading in the and obviously we will be going for the SAP. Why? Because it's an SAP business objects. So obviously Access database would be the nominal database which is given to you. Okay. Yeah, sure. As I said, you like see, business objects is a reporting tool, Imran, and coming to the BI, it's an ETL tool. Okay, it's an ETL tool. Okay, ETL tool is like the extract, transform, and load tool. See here, I've just taken one example over here. Okay, so I've just taken one example here where my data is established in different databases. So in order to get that relevant data according to my report requirement, in order to get the relevant data, I can just get it at one particular place by using a ETL tool. ETL tool is nothing but it extracts the data, transforms the data, and loads the data into one particular site, okay, called as business warehouse or the data warehouse. Okay, or the data warehouse. So the ETL is only the tool which can extract the data, transform, and load it into the business objects or data warehouse. From here, we are accessing the data by the business objects in order to generate the reports. Okay, after the BI people would be working, then only we can, the resultant of the BI would be taken as an data for the business objects. Okay, this is completely a reporting tool, that is completely an ETL part. Okay, both are completely different. Yeah, BO has some integrated tools. Of course, I'm not telling it doesn't have. Okay, BODS or BODI is there. BODI is the oldest version. BODS is a new version. That is also an ETL tool. It's a product of the business objects only. Okay, like business objects data services we call it as, or the data integrator, BODA or BODS. That is also an ETL tool. Okay. It's a product. This BI is a product of SAP. BODS is a product of BO. Okay, who cannot, the organizations which cannot afford for the SAP BI, they can go for the BODS. It's very simple. Any other doubts, guys? You can just ask me. Abdul, and someone asked me like they are very much familiar with the universe and the Webby. Okay, like the dashboards they want. Yes, obviously we can just go with the dashboards also. I would be teaching you some 6 to 8 scenarios. Okay, and few of them are static by taking a static data. Few of them would be by taking a dynamic data from the data sources. I can just try to generate the dashboards using most of the components like your pie charts, bar charts, most of the which we use in a regular base. Whatever we use, we can just go with that. But I don't think so. Like you are much more familiar with the Bhatia and Lakshya. Okay, I don't know like you are familiar with the IDT or not, but we are covering up with the information design tool. Okay, not the universe design tool. We are covering the information design tool. That's a new tool in the business objects in the 4.0. Okay. So guys, if you have any other doubts, you can just ask me. Of course, the data integrator tools are different from the reporting tools, right? Why? Because data integrator is like it gets the data from the databases, whereas reporting tools would be generating only the reports. Okay, both are different, obviously. See how the ETL tool is here. In the same way, we are having the data integrator tools, and the reporting tools would be business objects. Both are different, completely different. That you can ask to Kapil. Actually, we will be recording. You can record from your sides. You can ask Kapil or Hitendra. Okay, they would be providing you the recording if you miss the session. That's not a problem. The recording would be given to you. Okay, and the data warehouse means few people are not familiar with the data warehousing also. So you may ask them. They will be sending you the data warehousing concepts and all the prerequisites for the business objects. Okay, they already have the recording. You can just take the recording. Okay guys, that's all from my side. Okay, if you have any other issues with the timings, classes and all these things, you can just ask Hitendra or Kapil.
Hello, this is Abdul here.
Yeah,
my
Abdul,
mic was off. Mic was off. They just unmuted. Thanks for the presentation. It was interrupted, by the way. And I have a question here. Is a BI course is a prerequisite to have this course?
No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Okay, BI is completely different from business objects, as I already told you. Okay, so if you are that interested to learn the business intelligence, you can learn it, but it's not a prerequisite.
But here, the ETL part ETL, process comes in between, right? Before going to this BO business objects.
See, already they would be working with the ETL part, and they put the data in the business warehouse. So this data would be accessed by us. We don't interfere or we don't participate in any kind of ETL part. Okay, we just take the product of the resultant of that one, generate the reports.
So, but suppose, to have BW or data warehouse, you have to have this ETL process, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So then only you will be able to form, or you will